What's up, guys? So it's Dr. Steve, master of the subconscious mind and doctor who fixes 100% of orthopedic issues not related to cancer, fracture, or infection. And I'm about to leave second home Fort Lauderdale, and I want to talk about inflammation and different ways that you can reduce that. And a lot of people just believe that you can take turmeric and that will reduce inflammation, and some people that will. But the problem is some people can't take turmeric because they have an SLC2 gene variant, right? And so if we have that gene variant, what happens is we don't process the copper and iron, turmeric's high in copper, and we wind up causing inflammation. Some people have high histamine levels of H and MT genes. They don't break down probiotics well, so they take a probiotic and they end up worse. And they cause more issues, more gut inflammation, autoimmune disease, and things of that nature because it creates a permeable gut. So I wanted to, since I'm believing here, and somebody brought up CIRS, C-I-R-S, chronic inflammatory response syndrome, which is what we get from an antigen, which an antigen is something like a toxin or a pathogen that your body recognizes, has to make an antibody for, but in some people, they never recover from it, and they end up in pain with brain fog and achy joints and digestive distress and a whole host of other functions, right? A lot of times we see this with people with mold toxicity. They get rid of the mold, but they still have the chronic inflammatory response. So the best ways to decrease inflammation in your body, one is the structural technique that I do that deals with tension on the brainstem. A lot of people have too much brainstem activity going on because of adhesions that have been created that nobody else is addressing. There's a specific way it has to be done. Traditional chiropractic care, traditional osteopathic care doesn't work. A lot of people confuse. There is a technique which is dealing with the brainstem. It's called shoot, I can't think of the name of it right now, but anyway, there's different techniques out there. They say they're dealing with tension on the brainstem, and it doesn't. Cranial sacral, that's what I was trying to say. It doesn't deal with that. It doesn't relieve the tension on the brainstem. There's only one way to do it. You have to stretch it in the right order and pull apart those adhesions. So you have to take care of the structure, the emotion, the subconscious mind. When we are in stress, what happens is the blood vessels constrict. We get in fight or flight. The bronchioles constrict, shortness of breath, right? We're in that fight or flight. We need to rest and digest. And in that inflammatory state, what happens is the hippocampus in the brain, the memory shrinks. This is what you see with brain deterioration in Alzheimer's, because people are in so much stress, their body shuts down. It doesn't want to remember the traumas. So forgetfulness is there by design. And so we need to deal with the subconscious repressions of our early childhood and our epigenetic belief systems that influence our DNA as well, and the ability of the DNA to signal our cells to repair and grow. We can slow down aging when we change our beliefs. Another product that I absolutely adore and love is Pure Ova. It's the antibody to the inflammatory protein in the gut, APLA2. So SPLA2 is a protein in the gut that comes from any type of stress. It causes inflammation. APLA2 tightens up those junctions, decreases swelling in the gut, creates a whole host of immune functions with decreasing inflammation. So you end up with healthier hair, skin, and nails. We wind up with lower inflammatory markers. I've seen patients with autoimmune disorders, specifically Sjogren's and rheumatoid arthritis. Totally decreases the inflammatory markers and those antibodies that show up. So now all of a sudden they go back to the doctor and no longer do they show those chronic signs of inflammation or have the symptoms of that illness. So that's really cool. That's another thing. So there's lots of different tools that are out there to reduce stress, right? And it's esoteric, it's not what's normally out there, but what you read about and hear about that's mainstream usually is what everyone else is doing is usually because of ignorance. Everyone just repeats and does the same things. They don't really know what works, and when it doesn't work for everybody, they don't try to find other answers. They just move on to the next person. So we got to find the answer. So in those 20% of patients you're not helping, there's a reason why, and you have to find it. It's usually lying in the DNA or in structural components that other people aren't teaching with brainstem tension. We address those factors and health is restored. All right, guys, you can check it out, protouchrehab.com. You can follow me on Instagram, You can see all the different things that I'm doing, and if you want to reach out, go ahead and reach out to me. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, and I am in Chicago.